Hi guys, thanks for joining us today in the video lab. It's great to be back here at the park after several weeks off. We're going to be getting back to our regular workouts in a couple weeks. I want to give you a video, show you some exercises today that you should be doing prior to all of your workouts. They're mobility exercises, but I want for a moment for you to put away the idea that mobility is a component of fitness. It's just sort of like an add-on or an adjunct to being strong and being lean. Being mobile and doing these exercises prior to your workout is going to make you stronger and leaner because mobility gives you better mechanics, better exercise mechanics. When you can load muscles more effectively through being mobile, through straightening out postural imbalances, you're going to get stronger quicker, you're going to get leaner faster. So forget about mobility as sort of like it's a bonus. Mobility is imperative to you changing the way your body looks and performs. Here's what I want you to do when you get to the park with us on August 24th. We're going to go to the fence first, and we're going to start from the ground up. We're going to start at the bottom of your kinetic chain, and we're going to work up. We're going to first take care of your knees by mobilizing your ankles and making all of your squat mechanics better. And I'm talking about any exercise that has you lowering and raising your center of gravity, not just doing the squat. So we're going to start with one foot about 3 to 4 inches away from the fence. Keep that heel anchored to the ground and take your knee to the fence. Is that too easy? Slide your foot back and repeat. Knee to fence. Do several in a straight line, then take your knee a little bit to the right and a little to the left. And repeat that for about 12 to 15 repetitions, straight ahead, a little to the inside, which has you moving left if my right foot is on the ground, a little bit to the outside or to the right. All right, after we've mobilized our ankles, we're gonna move up the chain, we're gonna go to the knee. We're gonna get the quad stretched out, we're gonna make it easier for this knee to operate in conjunction with the hip. I'm going to place my knee on the ground with my opposite foot toe to the fence. You see that straight line? I don't like it. I want the knee to be further from the fence than is your hip. So now my knee is angled back. I've got this on a nice stretch. My quad is already pre-stretched. I'm going to keep my glute real tight. That's going to fire my hip flexor. Make it stretch, lengthen it. Now I'm going to bring my heel up toward my glute. Doesn't have to touch. Keep your chest nice and high. Rock the entire thing to the fence and rock it back. You're going to get a great stretch in your quad, but more importantly, from a functional standpoint, it's going to help your knee and your hip to operate better. When your knee and hip operate better, you're going to be more effective in all those exercises that involve flexion and extension of your knee and your hip. Again, I do about 12 to 15 to one side, then I repeat with the other knee on the ground. From there, we're going to move up the chain to the hip itself, and we're going to do a hip rocker. Just going to move away just a little bit from the fence. I'm going to maintain those nice long lines. I'm going to place my hands on the ground and push my hips up and back. I'm going to try to bury that rear heel into the ground and get this toe up. You can add a little stretch for the calf by lifting up on the foot. I'll pause there briefly, come all the way back out. I want you to notice two things. One, my knee is over my ankle. Secondly, my back leg is straight. I'm locked at the knee. I'm driving my hip down and that glute is nice and tight. Rock back, front toe up, rear heel down. Pause briefly, rock back 90 degrees and a nice long line. There's your hip rocker, again, about 12 to 15 to each side. All right, from there I'm going to stand. And we're going to now do some hip pendulums. Holding on for a little balance, I'm going to swing that hip forward and backward. Nice and free. Upper body stays real quiet, so I'm not leveraging the motion by moving my upper body. I'm trying to keep my trunk out of it so my hip gets all the work. We're going to grease that thing up about 12 to 15 times. Of course, I do the same exercise on the other leg. I face the fence, step back with my left foot, and now let my right leg operate across my body and wide. Now I'm kind of getting into the outside of the hip, or the hip abductors, stretching them as I bring it across my body. Stretching the hip adductors, ABD, adductors, inside of my thigh as I throw my leg wide. 12 to 15 repetitions on the hip pendulum, both legs. All right, now it's time for a little foam rolling. I'm gonna mobilize my thoracic spine because this is our posture most of the day, right? Life is right here. Our postures get rounded, they adapt and they tighten in this position. We've got to mobilize that thoracic spine to help our shoulders work properly. So anything in an overhead pattern or anything that we're doing that involves a hip flexion or spinal flexion keeps our spine calibrated from cervical to lumbar the way it should be operating for optimum use, okay? So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna keep my tail on the ground. I'm gonna drop down so that this roller is sitting beneath the two big bones of my back, my scapula. I'm gonna simply start by hinging. Just a little crunch on the roller, support the weight of the head. Let the shoulders gently come down behind the level of the fulcrum. After I've done about 4 or 5 repetitions, all I need to do is walk that roller down my back another vertebrae or two and repeat that motion on another spot along my spine. Again, I would do about 4 or 5 there. And then again, just roll up the roller and begin to mobilize the next set of vertebrae. 4 to 5 repetitions. I'll do one more. You do not want the roller in your lower back to do this work. Keep it in your thoracic spine, which I want you to think about as the spine between the base of your neck and what you would consider to be your lower back. So I'll do one more repetition there. And once I've mobilized my thoracic spine, I'm gonna get back to my original position. I'm gonna get my tail in the air. I'm gonna stretch those muscles in my upper back by giving myself a big bear hug. And then I'm gonna roll that area out. And as I roll it out, I'm gonna keep my hips up. I can turn my shoulders a little bit to the right to get more into the soft tissue of the back. A little to the left to get the spinal erectors on the left side. And I square it up again. And then sometimes what I like to do is just get a final nice stretch, a little more mobilization for that spine. You really can't do enough to correct all those postural deviations with our shoulders rounded and hunched. I keep my chin slightly tucked, and I open up my arms here to get a little more stretch through my pecs, in front of my chest. Feels great. Gentle crunch, and I'm up and at 'em. Take those 4 or 5 minutes. Prepare yourself for the workout. You'll move better, you'll feel better, and you'll get fitter quicker. For Bo's Fitness Camps, I'm Bob Crosby. Do work. Ready to roll. Feel good.
You should feel good. I feel hot and sweaty.
Not too bad.